Hello, my name is Megan Deptula, and I am a double major here at Bloomsburg. My two majors are psychology and communication studies, specifically the organizational concentration. I chose the topic of social media's impact on world politics because we live in such a mediated world, and with the past election, it's very important to see how it impacts politics, not just here in the US, but everywhere in the world. First, I will begin with some examples of when social media had an enormous impact on politics. The first was on January 17, 2001. Philippine President Joseph Estrada was going to be let off the hook for a crime of accepting millions of dollars in bribes. There was evidence against him, but the loyalists in Congress set that evidence aside. Filipinos, of course angry that their president was going to be let off the hook, went to a major crossroads in Manila, and they arranged a protest by forwarding text messages that said the location and what to wear, and over 1 million people arrived. Close to 7 million text messages were sent that week. The evidence was reversed and was presented, and Estrada was gone soon after that. This was an example of one of the first times that social media helped to force out a national leader. He blamed the text messaging generation for his downfall. However, that's not the only example. Text messaging led to the ouster of Prime Minister José María Aznar of Spain, who had inaccurately blamed Madrid transit bombings on Basque separatists. Those are just two examples to illustrate how social media can affect politics. While social media can be very useful in a lot of ways, for example, it can be for sharing your opinion on the elections, and it can also be used to help people understand the election without having to watch the presidential debate or talks that they give, because sometimes it's very confusing for people to watch that and understand what exactly they're talking about. So ultimately, social media can be used to simplify things. However, it can also be a negative thing as well. More people spend their time behind their computer screens bashing those who support one candidate or another, but yet still don't go out and vote. Many millennials are stuck behind the memes and the bashing to even want to make a difference by voting. And the truth is, social media has taken up too much time and energy that people don't even think it's of value to go out and actually cast their ballots. But they will do so over the internet, mocking the election. Social media has impacted politics in both positive and negative ways. But I think in the US, with the past election, it hindered many votes. Of those who did vote, they didn't even know why they were voting for the candidate that they were. They only remember that meme against Hillary Clinton, which was why they voted against her. And I did highlight a meme against Donald Trump, just as an example, on this slide. And it says, "Want to have some fun today? Go into Starbucks and order. When they ask your name, say Trump. They will be forced to yell it out, then everyone in the store will start crying. I did it this morning. It was awesome." But again, how is that helping any real issues? It's just mocking the election with no purpose. The problem is that many people do not even participate in political elections because they feel they don't know enough about them. The millennial generation, one in which has brought about the most social media use, is also the largest generation, surpassing the baby boomer generation. This past election in the US had the highest turnout in history for voting. Before Election Day, there were already more than 46 million people who had voted. However, only about half of the eligible voters who were millennials voted. Why? One can say that they didn't like either candidate. But again, the question is why? Many people can't even hold a conversation about politics to support their reasoning for voting or not voting. However, by looking on the internet, millennials across the globe were sharing everything that had to do with the election. And they weren't the only ones. The older generation was doing this too, and still some of them were not voting. You can find memes such as the Donald Trump one, with millions of people commenting on them and sharing them. So what's the true reason that people aren't voting? People aren't voting because there's no true content even being shared on the internet. Nobody's going out and trying to gather information about the election. So I think that the solution is that we change the use of social media. Politics can be helped by social media when used the right way, but the problem comes in when there's no real content being shared. Memes don't help people understand why a candidate is against abortion. At least for the millennial generation, voting was reduced because of social media. The solution that could be offered is that we stop sharing pictures that don't help the cause, but do like other countries do, like Spain, and start using social media to stand up for our beliefs. It's great to use social media as a fun thing, but when it comes to political issues, we need to start being more serious about it. We need to start motivating others to vote. And we need to start sharing the real issues, not memes. Thank you.